Buyers who bought tickets with Spirit Airlines are left scrambling today after the budget carrier announced overnight it's shutting down immediately and canceling all flights. This after failing to reach a deal for a bailout. Madison Scarpino is live at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta with more on the Spirit shutdown. Madison.
Hi, John. Yeah, an empty Spirit counter here today in Atlanta, and usually it is always very busy. But now that the airline is shut down after 34 years, thousands of people with a Spirit ticket are forced to find an alternative.
We had to book new flights with a different airline. It's just been us here with 3 kids, 2 5-year-olds and an 11-month-old. And we just been in the airport all night. First, they told us that they were going to give us hotels, Uber, and food vouchers, but then they canceled and said that they couldn't give it to us, so we just been sitting here all night.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says this is ultimately the Biden administration's fault. He says they blocked a JetBlue Spirit merger in 2024 that could have prevented this, but Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren pointed out that the judge who blocked the merger was appointed by Republican Ronald Reagan. But this all comes after years of financial issues for Spirit. It filed for bankruptcy multiple times. President Trump was trying to figure out a bailout, but the deal failed. And now with the war in Iran, Spirit says the sudden rise in fuel prices left them with no other choice than to shut down. But now other airlines are stepping up to the plate to help. Many are capping ticket prices for Spirit customers. Some are offering reduced prices. And Secretary Duffy says he's proud that airlines are doing this.
I'm grateful that all of them didn't look for an opportunity to gouge passengers, to take advantage of this situation. You actually saw the exact opposite.
As for the 17,000 people who worked for Spirit, Duffy says other airlines are ready to hire them. He says there's a need for aviation workers and that Spirit employees would potentially get preferential treatment in the application process. So here's one Spirit flight attendant we spoke with today.
Spirit has been very good to me. I have nothing bad to say about Spirit. I just wish that the company itself would have gave us more information.
So anyone with a Spirit ticket is encouraged to book another flight on a different airline as soon as possible. John?
I imagine, Madison, that there are people who didn't know they had shut down overnight and showed up at the airport today expecting to fly. Did you see anybody like that?
So today it has remained pretty empty. There was a handful of people just in and out. They didn't want to speak on camera, but they showed up here very confused. They had no idea that this was happening. They said they had heard rumors over the last few weeks, but didn't know that the trigger was actually pulled on the shutdown. But yeah, they were stressed out, not knowing if they were going to, in fact, get cheaper ticket prices on another airline, and really just trying to figure out how they should get to their destination. John?
Yeah, what a terrible situation. Madison Scarpino.
Yeah.
Thanks, Madison.
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakadash, and double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth, as well as much respect and honors to the brothers that are pushing this truth in sincerity across the four winds of this earth and risking their lives and freedom to do so. I would also like to give much honors and respect to the brothers and sisters that are of the hopeful elect that are doing their very best to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High to the best of their abilities. Shalom. As you saw in this news clipping that I just shared with you, and this actually is a fairly new news clipping. This came up on my phone today. This popped up on my phone today. But here it is as of yesterday. This airline, Spirit Airlines, they shut down. After failing to reach a federal bailout deal. Okay, now here it is. This airline has been in business for I think a little more than 30 years or so, according to this news clipping. But as of yesterday, they shut down. And and with that being said, here it is. We've been hearing about other airlines. They've been struggling as well too. Okay, because here it is. We've been hearing about flights, being canceled and things like that. Okay. And see, a lot of this is resulting from, the price of fuel going up, because here it is, with the situation that's going on over there in Iran, between Iran, the state of Israel and the U.S., and they got that strait blocked off and everything. Okay, and so as a result of that, that's causing fuel shortages. And also too, the price of fuel is going up. Okay, and so a lot of these airlines are actually hurting. But this one particular airline right here, this Spirit Airline, they shut down completely. Okay. And so this right here is just showing you that the grinding is just continuing to get low over here in Babylon the Great. And this place is not going to recover. It's not going to get any better. Okay. Every day it seems like we're hearing about layoffs. Every week we're hearing about layoffs. Okay, businesses shutting down and whatnot. The grinding, getting low over here. Okay. And so, this is why, we stress repentance, Israel. This is why you have to spiritually detach yourself from this place. And when I say Israel, I'm talking about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and those that are of the speckled bird that look like these other nations. But you go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on your father's side. Now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abashah, because America is circling the toilet. And, those white people who don't want to spiritually detach from this place, they're going to fall over here in Babylon the Great. It's not going to end well for them. And see, and here it is, according to this news clipping, they were saying that the employees that were, with Spirit will possibly be taken up or will possibly get jobs with these other airlines. And, that may be true, but then again, that may not, because at the end of the day, too, these other airlines, they're struggling as well, too. They're struggling. As I had mentioned, you had a lot of these other airlines, they were canceling flights. Okay. Also, too, and a lot of that was due to the price of fuel going up, as well as a shortage of personnel, because here it is, you had a government shutdown, and as a result of that government shutdown, you had a lot of federal airline workers. They were out of work, or they were not getting paid, for work, and so therefore you had a lot of them. They stopped showing up. But still, these other airlines are struggling as well too, and so some of these employees, they may get picked up by these other airlines, and some of them may not. But again, the grinding is just continuing to get low over here. Okay, this place is just continuing to wax worse and worse, and eventually it's going to fall. Okay, America is on life support, and that plug is soon about to be pulled. And you're going to hear about more things like this happening. I mean, to where you're having, businesses, they're shutting down, closing the doors. And this business right here, the Spirit Airline, it's been in business now for, I think, or it was in business for more than 30 years, but now it's shutting down now. Okay, it's shutting down. And so what I'm going to go ahead on and do now is I'm going to bring out a couple of scriptures, because again, the grinding is getting low over here. Okay, the work is drying up over here in Babylon the Great. And so, again, Israel, this is why we stress repentance. This is why you have to come up out of this place spiritually and return to the Father and the Son, so that you can have that hedge of protection of you. Because the Lord is going to protect the elect, man, lady, and children. The Lord is going to ensure that his elect have everything they need to survive. And Lord willing, we are that elect number. But I want to bring out a couple of scriptures. And y'all got to bear with me. This is a new app on my phone. I'm not quite used to it. Still trying to get used to it. I want to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. And I want to start in verse 14. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 14. And it reads, "The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man stagnant in his vomit." Okay, and see, here it is, the people over here, in America, okay, also known as spiritual Egypt, okay, also known as Babylon the Great. But the people are over here, the people over here in America, they're caught into the perverse ways that's pushed out over here in America. Okay, you have 2/3 by people, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens, they're caught into the perverse ways. Okay, here it is, you have 2/3 by people, they're caught into, these fake religions. You got 2/3 by people, they're caught into the different enchantments and philosophies that's pushed out over here in Babylon the Great. Okay, you got 2/3 by people, they're following, after the ways, of these heathens. They're following after Esau. Okay, here it is. You have a lot of our people, 2/3 by people, they look at Esau, okay, as being their higher power. Okay, but as I had mentioned, you have 2/3 by people, they're caught into the perverse ways. They're caught into the fake religions. Okay, they're caught into all forms of madness that's being pushed out over here in Babylon the Great. Okay, 2/3 by people, they're caught into all forms of wickedness that's being pushed out over here. The majority of our people over here in Babylon the Great are through. Okay, and see, and this is why, 2/3 of our people, they're going to continue to get caught into the plagues. They're going to continue to get caught into the calamities that the Most High is sending on this place. Okay, because the Most High is plaguing America. The Most High is plaguing the job market over here. Every week we're hearing about massive layoffs that are happening, businesses shutting down. The Most High is plaguing the economy over here because here it is, we're hearing about inflation, okay, that's going on over here. The price of everything is going up. The price of food, the price of rent, mortgages, okay, the price of everything is going up, okay. Also, too, the Most High is plaguing Babylon the Great with shortages because here it is, we're hearing about a shortage of fuel. Okay, I was at the gas station today. Okay, and here it is. Fuel has gone up again. Okay, and then also too, they had some of the gas pumps blocked off because they weren't working. They had several of them blocked off. Okay, and that's just an indicator that there's a shortage. Okay, also too, I had put out in the previous lesson that last week, here it is. This gas station that I normally go to, they were out of diesel fuel. Well, here it is anyway. And see, speaking of this gas station, I went to this gas station today, the same gas station that I normally go to. I had put out a lesson yesterday, and I had said that when I had got gas, I want to say that was a few days ago. It was less than a week ago, I know. Anyway, the gas was at least regular unleaded gas was at $4.15. But now here it is today. I went to that gas station today. It jumped from $4.15 to $4.19, and it's just going to continue to creep up there. Okay, and so the Most High is plaguing America. It's sending plagues upon America. The Most High is plaguing America with shortages. Again, there's a shortage of fuel. Okay, that's happening in various parts of America or Babylon the Great. There's a shortage of goods and supplies, and more of these things are coming, especially with the situation that's happening over there in Iran. Okay, with that strait. Okay, but the Most High is sending these different plagues upon America. Okay, to judge this place, to bring down this wicked kingdom of Esau's, and to punish those that are being wicked. Isaiah chapter 19, this is verse 15. It says, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Okay, and see, here it is. Back to this news clipping that I just shared with you. You had this airline. They've been in business, or at least they were in business for more than 30 years, but now they done shut down. Okay, and see, here it is. We've been hearing about these things happening. Many businesses are downsizing and shutting their doors. Okay. Here it is, you're having grocery store chains that are downsizing. You're having retail stores that are downsizing and shutting their doors. Okay, and so we're hearing about massive layoffs that are happening. The unemployment rate is just continuing to skyrocket over here. Okay, and see, even even a lot of these federal jobs. Okay, a lot of people within the federal government, they're losing their jobs as well too. Okay, and see, at one time, working for the federal government was considered to be somewhat of a secure employment, but that's not the case anymore. None of these jobs over here are secure in Babylon the Great. The grinding is ceasing over here in Babylon the Great. And with that being said, those of our people who continue to want to put their faith and trust in this failing system of Esau's, they're about to be in a bad case. Because again, as I had mentioned earlier, America is circling the toilet. This place is on life support, and that plug is soon about to be pulled. Okay. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 15, again, it says, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." And again, we're seeing massive layoffs that are happening. We're hearing about businesses that are shutting down. People are becoming unemployed. People are becoming out of work. Okay, and as a result of people, becoming unemployed and out of work, people are struggling to try to put food on the table. Okay, people are struggling to try to keep a roof over their heads. Okay, people can no longer afford to pay their rent, their mortgage. This place, it's waxing worse and worse, and as a result, you're having a lot of people that are bugging out. Okay, they're crashing out over the smallest little things. Okay, so, with that being said, Israel, now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shah, because again, the Lord is going to protect his elect. Verse 16, it says, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 16, it says, "In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it." Okay, and see, here it is. People are becoming nervous and afraid. People, they're afraid, or they're fearful about losing their jobs. People, they don't know if they're going to have a job to go to the next day or not. Okay, here it is. The price of rent, the price of mortgages are going up, and so people are afraid of losing their homes. People don't know if they're going to be able to, they don't. Their future is looking dark. Okay, over here, because this place is just waxing worse and worse. Okay, it's waxing worse and worse. Let's read this again. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 16 again. It says, "In that day, Egypt shall be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it." And again, it's ultimately the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah that's sending plagues upon Babylon the Great. The Lord is sending these plagues again to punish those that are being wicked and to bring down this wicked kingdom of Esau's. We are literally witnessing the downfall of Esau Edom's kingdom. And a lot of these people, you're having a lot of people over here, they're taking to social media and they're coming, they're talking about how afraid they are. They're talking about how they don't know if they're going to have a job to go to the next day or not. They don't know if they're going to be able to pay their mortgage. They don't know if they're going to be able to pay their rent. Okay, you got people that are complaining. They're talking about how they're struggling to try to put food on the table. Okay, people are becoming fearful because they're beginning to come to realization that there's no future over here in America. People are coming to the realization that this place, America, also known as Babylon the Great, also known as spiritual Egypt, people are coming to the realization that this place is done. It's a wrap. Okay. So again, Israel, now is the time to seek the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah. Okay. Again, you got to spiritually detach yourself from this place and return to the Father and the Son so that you can have that hedge of protection over you. Because again, the Lord is going to protect his elect. The Lord is going to protect the elect, man, lady, and children. And again, Lord willing, we are that elect number. I want to go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. I believe that's where I want to go. Yeah, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, and this is chapter 12, and I want to start at verse 3. And it reads, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." Okay? And see, the keepers of the house, that's talking about these elite bankers. That's talking about these economists that keep up with the Dow Jones. They're trembling because they're seeing the downfall of Babylon the Great. Okay? And see, the grinders are the workers, and the grinding gets ceasing, due to massive layoffs. What do we hear in this news clipping that I shared in the beginning of this lesson? Okay, here it is. They was talking about this airline, Spirit Airline. It's shutting down, or it's shut down. And so therefore, you got a lot of people that are out of work now as a result of that. Okay? And so the grinding is ceasing over here, due to massive layoffs, due to businesses shutting down. And every week we're hearing about massive layoffs that are happening. We're hearing about businesses that are downsizing and shutting their doors. Okay? This is going to continue to happen. It's not going to get any better over here. Okay? It says, verse 3 again. Let's read verse 3 again. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." Okay, and see, the windows are becoming darkened because people, again, they're coming to the realization that there's no future over here in America. Okay, the future of America is looking dark. And again, this place is on life support, and that plug is soon about to be pulled. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4, it says, "And the door shall be shut in the street, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up with the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." Okay, and see, the door should be shut in the street because of businesses shutting down. Okay, here it is. Back to this article. You had that news reporter. She was in front of I guess it was the counter of Spirit Airlines. She was in the airport in front of the counter of Spirit Airlines, and there was nobody behind the counter. Okay, it was pretty much shut down. Okay, and see, we're seeing a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of different grocery store chains, as well as retail stores. They're shutting their doors. Okay, they're downsizing. Here it is. I want to say Macy's. That's like a store that sells clothing and whatnot. They're downsizing, and so a lot of their different stores, they're shutting down. Okay, and so the doors are being shut in the street because businesses are shutting down. Verse 4 again, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4 again. It says, "And the door should be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." It says, and see, the sound of the grinding is getting low because the work is drying up over here. Massive layoffs are happening. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Okay, and so you got people, they're rising up at the voice of the bird, either to try to find work. And you got some people that are rising up, early to try to get it however they can get it, even if that means taking from others. Because here it is, with the grinding getting low over here, massive layoffs happening. You got inflation on the rise. There's also reports of shortages of goods and supplies, as well as even food. That's contributing to an uptick of crime, theft, and violence. Okay, and these things are going to increase. And so with that being said, we need the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah to provide that hedge of protection over us. It says, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And see, here it is. All you got to do is just turn the radio on today, and all you're going to hear is just a bunch of low-level demonic music. These artists that are out today, they're putting out a bunch of low-level, trashy demonic music because they done sold their souls, to this devil. And, and those artists that are doing that, putting out this low-level demonic music that's done sold their souls, they got a great judgment coming to them. They got a great judgment coming to them from the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah. Okay. I want to go to, bear with me. I want to go to the book of 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter, I think I want to go to chapter 15. And I want to get verse 17. Yeah, okay, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, this is verse 17. And it reads, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, and see, this is beginning to happen right now. Okay, because here it is, back to this this news clipping that I shared with you in the beginning of this lesson. You had an Eve, okay, that they were interviewing. And here it is, I think she was at an airport in Florida. She was supposed to take a Spirit flight, somewhere. But anyway, she was stuck in the airport, okay? And she said that, they had said something about giving them vouchers for hotels and other things, but that didn't happen. And so she said that she, as well as her, I think she had 3 children with her. She said they were all stuck in the airport, okay? And so here it is. This is beginning to happen right now. A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able, okay? Also, too, here it is with, the price of fuel going up. And we're hearing about fuel shortages that are happening, okay? This is also contributing to a man, desiring to want to go into a city, but, he's not going to be able to because, there's a shortage of fuel and the price of fuel is going up. And so, people are pretty much, limiting, travel and whatnot. Okay. But, again, here it is, back to this article, this news clipping that I shared. You had, this Eve that was in the airport. She was stuck in the airport because, she had booked a flight on Spirit Airlines. Okay. And that airline had shut down. Okay, and so she was stuck in the airport. And see, you're going to hear about more things like this happening, okay? More things like this is going to happen. But again, here it is. The price of fuel is going up. There's also fuel shortages that are happening. And so this is going to also contribute to a man, desiring to want to go into a city, and he's not going to be able to, due to fuel shortages, due to the price of fuel going up, It's getting to the point now to where, you're having a lot of people, they're taking to social media and they're complaining about how the price of fuel is going up and how, they're struggling just to try to put fuel in their vehicles to go to work. Okay. And also too, here it is, Jacob's trouble is here. And, we're already in some evil days and hell is beginning to break loose over here. But very soon, all hell is going to be breaking loose over here. Okay. The word martial law is going to kick in. You're going to have lockdowns coming. That's going to also contribute to a man desiring to want to go into a city and, he will not be able to. And so again, this is why, you have to spiritually detach yourself from this place, Israel. Okay. Because again, the Lord is going to protect his elect. The Lord is going to protect the elect man, lady, and children, and again, Lord willing, we are that elect number. The Lord is going to ensure that the elect man, lady, and children have everything they need to survive. The Lord is going to be with his elect. Okay. I want to go to Jeremiah, and we'll end off in the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah Bear with me. Yeah. Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51, and I want to start in verse 6. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, this is verse 6, and it reads, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity." It says, "For this is the time of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." Okay, and see, here it is. You have many of these foreigners that have come over here to America and that have set up businesses and whatnot. A lot of them are actually packing up and they're leaving because they're coming to realization that there's no future over here in America. Okay, it says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." Okay, and see, with that being said, the Lord is visiting America. Okay, and the Lord is plaguing America. The Lord is judging America. Okay, and so again, this is why you have to spiritually detach yourself from this place. Okay, you got to spiritually detach yourself from this place and return to the Father and the Son, so that you can have that hedge of protection over you. Because again, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is visiting America, also known as Babylon the Great, and the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is bringing this wicked queendom down. Okay, the Lord is smiting Babylon the Great with plagues, and again, the Lord is sending these plagues upon Babylon the Great to bring down this wicked queendom of Esau, as well as to punish those that are being wicked. Okay, and let's read this again. It says, verse 6 again, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6 again. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity." Again, Israel, spiritually detach yourself from this place and return to the Father and the Son, so that you don't fall over here in Babylon the Great. Because those are people who just want to continue to, partake in the wickedness and the folly that's being pushed out over here in Babylon the Great. Those are people who don't want to spiritually detach themselves from this place and return to the Father and the Son. They're going to fall over here in Babylon the Great. It says, "For this is the time of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai's vengeance." And again, the Lord is visiting America, and the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is sending plagues upon America to judge this wicked queendom of Esau's. It says, "He will render unto her a recompense." And see, speaking of recompense, that ultimate recompense that the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is going to send on America, it's going to come by way of thermonuclear missiles, which is going to destroy America. It's going to annihilate America and all of these wicked people over here. Only the elect man, lady, and children will have that hedge of protection of them and will be delivered before this place is ultimately destroyed. And again, Lord willing, we of that elect number. But this is why we stress repentance, is so that you can be of the elect, and so that you can have that hedge of protection of you, and so that you can be delivered and not left over here to be destroyed. Jeremiah chapter 51, this is verse 7. It says, "Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad." Okay, and see, here it is, all of these nations, that have, taken on the philosophies, and the enchantments that's pushed out over here in Babylon the Great. Those philosophies and enchantments that's pushed out over here in Babylon the Great, they go against the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. And so taking on, these philosophies and enchantments that's pushed out over here in Babylon the Great, such as feminism, you got this ABC Mo agenda and whatnot. These other nations taking on these different enchantments and philosophies, it didn't benefit them. It only made them worse off. And so therefore, these other nations, they're mad and they're frowning at America. Even America's allies are turning on America. Okay? Jeremiah chapter 51, this is verse 9. It says, verse 8, Salakia. Verse 8, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8. It says, "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed." It says, "Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, be she may be healed." Verse 9, it says, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies." Okay, and see, balm is like a healing agent. But with that being said, America is not going to be healed. America is circling the toilet as we speak. Okay, and again, here it is. You have a lot of foreigners that have come over here that have set up businesses. They're packing up and they're leaving this place. Okay, you have a lot of these other nations that no longer want to do business with America. Okay, here it is. Even America's allies are turning on America. Okay, a lot of these other nations, they're now dumping the U.S. dollar. Okay, here it is. I mean, you got other nations that are threatening war with America. Okay, America's currently at war with Iran and whatnot. Okay, but you even got America's allies. Okay, that they're turning on America. You got other nations that are threatening war with America. Okay, America is circling the toilet, and this place is just going to continue to wax worse and worse. And again, it's ultimately the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah that's bringing this place down because of all the wickedness that goes on over here. And so again, Israel, now is the time to seek the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah. Okay, so that you can have that hedge of protection over you, so that you can be spared and delivered and not left over here to get caught up into the plagues and the evils and the calamities. Okay, and again, that ultimate calamity that's going to come to Babylon the Great is going to come by way of thermonuclear missiles, which is going to destroy this place as well as all of these wicked people over here. Again, only the Lord's elect will have that hedge of protection of them and will be delivered before this place is ultimately destroyed. And so I'm going to go ahead and end off here. I hope it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and double honors and respect of the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Kwam Yasharala, and above. Shalom.